Alright, so here's a little trick. This thing's tight, doesn't want to come out. So what you can do to pull a pin like this, or a bolt, or anything else that won't come out of a hole, and you have trouble getting to it to pry it out from the backside or whatever, adjust one of these guys until it fits over the bolt. It comes up like that. Now I can use that like a hammer. In this case, it's not enough. So what I can do is I can grab this hammer, hit on the bottom of this thing while I'm holding the outside end, hit it right just below where that screw is, right in that area, and it should come back out. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to film this for you guys. I have my doubts. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So it goes like that, and then it's basically out. Oops, it loosened up. They do that. Okay. There you go. So that just fits in there like so, and you can knock it out that way. Just a quick little tip. Alright, welcome back. In this installment, we're going to get back on that D100. I got a couple things to wrap up on that before we send it down the road, and then move on to the next project. We have some stuff coming up on the S10. I do have a couple projects waiting in the wings. I haven't decided which one I'm going to get to first. I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of that. And I've also got some modifications to the trailer we're going to be doing. And I've been rewiring the electric in the garage. We're finally going to have power in the garage so I can run that air compressor and my welder. But for now, let's get back on that D100. Alright, so this door doesn't line up quite right. When I got it, it wouldn't latch shut. You'd have to lift the door up to try and get it to shut, or slam the living daylights out of it. So I adjusted the striker down to where at least now it'll close. But you notice it's not lined up at all. The line's off down here. Let me show you what's going on. Alright, so if you watch down there shouldn't be any movement or play, but when I lift the door, you can probably see there's a bunch of movement there. So basically the hinge works like this. You got half of it bolted to the truck, half of it bolted to the door, opposite of what I just did there. And there's a pin that goes through the center, and those pins wear out. So they sell a pin kit, and this has replacement pins in it, and that's it's called a door hinge pin and bushing kit. So they give you the new bushings too. There should be bushings in there because they're a wear item. That way, instead of the hole getting rounded out and then a new pin won't fix it, you just replace these bushings and the pin, and it should fix everything. So first off, what's going on with this guy? Just not screwed in all the way. Looks like it just wasn't screwed in all the way. Yeah, okay. I was worried that might have been cross-threaded or something, but which means somebody's been in here before for some reason. I know, I should be using some kind of power tool, but you know what? That's how you strip things and cross-thread things. So I like to do things by hand for the most part. It does take longer, but you know, I came from the restoration world, and I'm just less likely to do damage to something old and crusty. Now I'm really hoping there's not a backing plate in here that's going to fall on the bottom of the door as soon as I take this last bolt out. It kind of feels like it might. If it does, I'm going to have to pop the door panel off and go get it. I probably fast forwarded through some of this stuff or cut it out because you didn't need to watch me unscrew 3 bolts, right? Okay, hopefully that stays in place when this comes out. Well, it sounds like it did. Alright. So now I should be able to move this door kind of out of the way a little more. There we go. Loosens that up. Let me get a little more altitude on the door. There we go. There we go. Now that's free. That should definitely not be flopping around like that. So let's see about getting those bushings replaced and getting that out of there. Alright, from the looks of things, the bottom bushing is completely missing. So let's find out if that's the case. There we go, that moved. I don't know if you can see it on the top, but it is moving. Just gotta get my finger out of here. There it goes. Alright, so let me just pry it here. There we go. She's loose. Alright, now I can compare this to the new pin to make sure it's right. And it sure does look like it is. Alright, so I can open the package then. I don't like to open the package if it's wrong. Yeah, there's hardly any of that bushing left. Okay, hang on, I gotta get a little more creative. Let me see something real quick. Ah, it's as high as the jack will go, but if I could lift it a little more on the end out there, I could slip that right on out of there. Alright, let's see. I got a little more jacking done. And still can't get that out of there. Okay. It's alright. Really, I want to take the whole dang door off. And I gotta realign it. Oh, here it is. Actually, this is the top and bottom bushings, as you can see. They're not really bushings anymore. It's supposed to look like this. Another piece was in there. Alright, let's see, I'm trying to manipulate this in such a way there we go. Alright, bottom bushing is completely missing, so we can do that. Alright, that looks alright. Alright, looks good. Alright, so new bushing goes here. Yeah, it's not going to want to stay, so let me grab a little grease to hold that in there while we're positioning the bottom part of the hinge. Alright, so I put a little grease on this bushing. That should hold it in place. And it does. Now I should slide this back over it. Come on. Oops. This way and this way. Let me push on the bottom of my leg. There we go. Let me drop the pin in. Woo! There we go. And then at the bottom. Alright. Kind of through. Let's see. Still not driven in there. Now I could have thrown that pin in the freezer for a while and it would probably just drop right in, and then once it warmed back up to room temperature it would be tight, but ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, what it is, just to show you, this pin is knurled at the top, so you got to drive those knurls in. Now I'm going to actually try something. I want to pop that back up, rotate it, and see if I can get it dropped down into the existing nest. There we go. Okay. So now, okay, that feels like it dropped in. I think that went in a little further. All right. There we go. Now, I got the door about where it belongs. Should be right there. Right about there anyway. Like that precision craftsmanship. Alright, we're on to something now. Sorry that you're getting a good shot of my arm and nothing else. Gotta love the miracle of editing that I'll partake in later. I should be telling jokes or something right now, huh? I don't know any. Not that they're safe for work, at least. Alright, there we go. Stand up, the old knees can't handle that for very long. I get it, I know guys in their 70s still working on cars, and I'm in my 50s and it hurts already. Alright. Whoops! Alright, let's see if that's any better, shall we? Drop our makeshift door holder. Let's just see how it looks so far. A little tight there at the bottom. So to adjust it back, I would need to take this part of the bracket and move it this way. And I think unfortunately I have to take the front fender off to get to the bolts for that. No, it looks like they're through here. Oh, they're through here. Okay, cool. Should probably be able to just push it in and then pop it out after. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we've got 2 bolts. I'm going to need a ratchet for that. Shit, you didn't see any of that. Alright, so the 2 bolts for the bottom hinge are right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen those up. I'm going to shift this back and then tighten those up again. And we should have a door lined up pretty good at that point. Okay, that one's loose. That one's loose. Let's see if it moves or if I got one more to do. Looks like I got one more bolt in there I got to get to. Let me show that to you real quick. See it right there is one more bolt. I'm going to retighten the inside bolt real quick so that it doesn't move when I undo the outside bolt, because I'm going to loosen this one while I got control of the door, so I don't have any unwanted movement. We got it in there with a wobble, a little wobble on the end of a long extension and the short socket. You still with me? Alright. So I'm going to grab this top socket now, or ratchet, bolt. Loosen this bad boy up. And pull the door toward me here. Go ahead and tighten it back up. Do the bottom one. Make sure it doesn't move. I'll tighten that outside one once all the adjusting's done. Alright, so let's see what that did for us, if anything. Because it didn't move very far. I think it was at the end of its adjustment already. Nope, that didn't do much of anything, did it? Shit, it seems worse, if anything. Take a look at this and I'll come right back when I figure it out. Alright, so until I get the door lined up right, I'm going to get this striker out of the way so it doesn't adjust where the door sits. I want to be able to freely push the door closed and see where it's at. Okay, we're good. That's trapped. Alright, so now I should be able to just open and close the door freely, which allows me to lift it, put it where I think it should be, which is right there. I mean, it's a wide gap, but that's where we want the door to be. So that would open up our gap in the front too from the looks of things. So that's our goal, get the door to there. Alright, so I loosened up these top 2 bolts because the body wasn't lined up very well with the fender as far as in and out. The door was in a little ways from the fender. So I shoved the door out, loosened those bolts, locked down the bottom of course. And then now, as you can see, it's aligned nicely at the top here. It's right where it's supposed to be. Now we just got to move that back. But what I noticed, there's shims in here. And then I'm going to put shims in here. I have some thicker shims. Try and kick that bottom back a little bit. And then once I got the gap looking the way I want it, you know, top to bottom, because it's not good now. Then I'll come back and I'll bring this door out at the bottom to make it line up with the fender better. Alright, so what we've done now is I've taken a couple body shims, which are these guys here, and I put in a 1/8 inch and a 1/16 inch in there to space out that hinge, and the result is a pretty nice gap top to bottom. The line lines up now. Had a pretty even gap top to bottom on this side. There's actually some loose paint here that makes it look tighter than it is, but you see that. But yeah, and it even lines up pretty good this way, here to here. The door could come out just a hair, but if I really get too crazy on it, it's not going to line up quite right. And this fender's out a little bit from the rocker panel too. The door actually lines up pretty good to the rocker panel, so I'm going to assume at this point that's just the fender itself could be in a little better. But I'm not going to monkey with it because that's pretty darn good and a lot better than it was. And now we'll be able to close this door properly. So we're good. Now all I got to do is put the striker back in, which is this guy right here. Just goes in there. There we go. And then what we do is we get this in, and just like the hinges themselves, you can move this thing all over the place, right? So what I'm going to do is I got to put it wherever it ends up holding the door in the best position. So let's try that. I left it a little loose so that when I close the door, it locates it. And that's pretty much where it was when I got it. So let's see if that, now I got the up and down by pushing the door closed, but what I need to do is I need to adjust it in and out to make it line up here when it's closed. So let's try that right there first. Make sure it doesn't move while I'm tightening it. Alright, we don't have to go crazy on it. Now let's give the door a shut here. Yeah, it's a little tight. I could bring it out just a hair, but the body line looks good. Gap's pretty even. Yeah, let's bring that out just a hair. It's also popping when I open it, which is what the S10's doing too. But I'm going to carefully move that out just a little bit. I need two hands, so I'm sorry. I'll be back when I'm done. Now let's see what that's like. Well, that closes pretty sweet now. And it's, yeah, it's lined up almost perfectly this way. So, okay, well now it's out a hair, if anything. So, I'm going to call that a win. We have a door that opens and closes the way it's supposed to now. Should do a single click and stop, yep. Or just close it. Nice. Beautiful. Alright, one door down. Now I got to do the other side. Same thing. Alright, so there you have it. Now we have working doors on the D100. They line up correctly, they close like they're supposed to, and they're not rattling and letting a lot of air leak in when I'm driving down the road. So I do appreciate you guys watching. We got a lot of stuff coming up, like I said in the intro. But for now, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.